Number 4, listen.
You're quite right.
You couldn't pull one drag off my mouth. You couldn't punch away out of a wet paper bag with scissors in your hands. It's the RZA. I stand close to walls like number 4, the lizard. Up with our catalog, with the lights out, and leave your brain inside a phone. Natural, actual facts are thrown at you. The impact to blow trees back and crack statues. $1 million rap crew fold. Check the sick, explicit. Crystal out the rhyme so you can snip it. Crystal out the rhyme so you can snip it. Only natural, actual facts. Only natural, actual facts are thrown at you.
Part 2, we like Dorothy Hamill on that. Me and your hood, we might circle. I sit it on your hood, kid. I sit it on your hood. Not till you burn it too late. I'm looking real good.
Natural, actual facts, facts, actual facts, 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 facts.
So, you know what I want?
You know, fucking actual justice warrior.
Shoplifting earlier, you can actually pull up an article to find out that the same 300 people in New York City represent a third of the shoplifting arrests total for a single year.
Probably because they're incredibly impoverished and they need to find a way to actually sustain their livelihoods in this country.
That's put a very good way. That's phrased very well, to maintain their livelihoods.
Well, so, no, I mean, no, their life is a better way to maintain.
Sure, but like,
oh wow. Okay, so you know what? Instead of just going for the jugulars here, she might actually break some ground in terms of convincing people, because you can see that's one of those moments where, like, you know, Tim Pool's mad about the way she phrased it because it actually sounds convincing. That's why he's upset. It was actually a good argument, and you could tell that it hit a part of him that now he feels like, oh, a little bit of what's that? An emotion. Yeah, and so suddenly it's like, okay, well, the way that's manipulative. Wait, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing here? I'm starting to have a feeling. I have a... No, I don't like this.
It's important to remember one thing. You're wrong. Here's why.
I guess my point is, some of them certainly are desperate. But when you see videos of a guy like shoveling stuff into a garbage bag, that's not desperation.
But again,
no, I don't like this.
This is what you do, Tim. You return to anecdotal examples when I'm trying to talk about...
We're talking about just the 300 people.
And I am talking about...
Which is the anecdotal evidence.
What 300 people?
You can actually pull up an article to find out that the same 300 people in New York City represent a third of the shoplifting arrests total for a single year.
He said the same...
By the way, he's not willing to learn. When they did the same thing to me, I brought up fucking what is the biggest form of theft. I was like, gentlemen, the biggest form of theft, it's not even comparable. I was like, we're looking at a teeny little bump in terms of, like, you know, burglaries, car break-ins, personal theft, stuff like that. What's the major? Wage theft, but it's like, again, not even comparable. We're not even talking fucking, you know, apples to oranges here. We're talking completely different. We're talking apples to Bernie Madoffs, okay? That is what is going on here. I showed them the stats. I showed them numbers. It's not
300 people are the ones committing the crime. I said, right,
a third of the shoplifting arrests in New York City.
These specific individuals are doing it for profit.
Okay, so we should have a system of mass incarceration because there are 300.
I didn't say that.
Because I'm talking to you now. There are 300 repeat offenders.
No, we should incapacitate repeat offenders so they stop offending. So if you're arrested,
all about the fact that you're not in favor of bail reform because in New York State, which is now currently being rolled back, we decided that we weren't going to require cash bail for nonviolent felonies and for misdemeanors. And you think that that's a good policy?
If you're concerned about people not being able to get out of jail because of their financial means, then I can understand reducing or even eliminating the cash bail system. Because I understand if you don't have a lot of money, even though you really only have to throw down 10% for bail in most cases, unless it's a, you know, like a set figure for the bond, then I get that argument. But what you need, and the state of New York desperately needs this, is some kind of threat assessment. Like, you should be able to hold somebody if they present themselves as a danger or a repeat offender, regardless of bail, without bail, so that they don't continue to reoffend.
Okay, but do you know what happens when people are held in Rikers, for example, in a pre-detention center? How many deaths have happened there before they're even convicted
lose their jobs, their homes, their relationships.
Again, that's an issue for how the jailing system works in New York City. And I'm in favor of building out the jail capacity because
you're talking about cash bail, though. That is exactly the point that we're discussing here.
Yeah.
Right. So you're in favor of people being held before they're convicted of a crime?
Yes.
In Rikers.
If they show a propensity to reoffend, 100%. If they show a propensity to reoffend, 100%.
Yes! Your face!
What is a propensity to reoffend?
A history, like being arrested over and over again, prior convictions, yes.
Yes! Your face!
So you think that they should be held in a prison that has been...
It's a jail, but yes.
Or jail, excuse me. A jail that has been proven to be one of the worst conditions in the country.
Well, it doesn't have to be specifically Rikers Island.
Dozens of deaths just this year, even if they haven't been committed of a crime.
Convicted of a crime. Yeah, for sure.
But I think...
But that's...
Again, it does take like years and years of dehumanization. Society sets you up pretty decent. We're all going to have a lot of racism programmed into ourselves, you know, just...
Speak for yourself, motherfucker.
By the time you get to that point where you want to become politically active, but by that point to get there to be like, hey, by the way, we got a situation where there are thousands of people who are being caged and tortured, and in some cases murdered, while they await their day to find out whether or not they are innocent.
Well, it doesn't have to be specifically Rikers
innocent until proven guilty in the American system. Unfortunately, this one disproportionately falls along the lines of poverty. And when it comes to
it doesn't have to be specifically Rikers Island,
at least happens to be predominantly Black neighborhoods. So we have a lot of Black people in cells, and they are poor, and they cannot afford
have to be specifically
bail,
Rikers
whereas
Island.
the rich counterparts can and do not have to suffer or die while they wait to prove whether or not they're innocent.
Well, it doesn't have to be specifically Rikers Island.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, for the benefit of society, obviously.
It's very anti-constitutional and anti-democratic.
How is it anti-constitutional?
The Fourth Amendment. It violates the Fourth Amendment.
Protects you from illegal search and seizures.
Well, I mean, you are the right to a speedy trial. People are held. Fifth Amendment. Yes.
I do think we should have reform on the speedy trial side, but the idea that it's unconstitutional to hold somebody pre-trial is ridiculous. Our law is based on English common law.
Damn.
We're all bad.
Our law is based on English common law, and the reason we have jails is that you would actually be held in a dungeon awaiting trial. So it's like built into the system. Bail is like a courtesy. It's actually
How did those words just leave your lips, and at no point you realized, oh shit, this is kind of barbaric medieval stuff we shouldn't base our current systems off of? Like, when you say that out loud, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's wild. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. Is there not a better way?
But the idea that it's unconstitutional to hold somebody pre-trial is ridiculous. Progressive reform in response to that, where you lay down some kind of capital in place of yourself.
How much money do you want to spend on jails in New York City?
As much as it takes. As much as it takes.
As much as it takes. As much as it takes.
So just warehousing people before they're convicted of anything.
Well, again, it's not warehousing everybody, but if you have a propensity...
See, that's true, though. He's right. I mean, he's actually quite satisfied with the fact that it's predominantly Black and brown people. And that, to him, I guess, is accomplishing some goal.
Reoffend, I think judges should be able to have judgment. It's kind of in the name. And assess these people and hold them.
So you just want to give it to the judgment of the judges. And it doesn't...
Yes, I would like the judges to have judgment. Yes. Yes, I would like the judges to have judgment. Yes, I would like the judges.
Yes, I would like the judges. Yes, I would like the judges. Yes, I would like the judges. Yes, I would like the judges.
Yes, I would like the judges to have judgment. Yes.
Okay, but there should be guardrails in place to prevent judges from... I mean, judges are human beings.
This is so right. Judge Dredd, he lives in a comic book.
Yes, I would like the judges to have judgment. Yes.
Beings, they can be unjust as well. I don't really put them
well,
on
you
the
could, you could
pedestal
obviously, I'm not in favor of like a $1 million bond for somebody who's arrested for shoplifting, even if they're arrested 27 times. So yeah, you can have guardrails from the legislature, but
there's a lot of people who are awaiting trial at Rikers who have no priors. Is that not fucked? If they're just basically determining whether or not they're going to be proven innocent, but they have to stay in Rikers in the meantime.
Well, it doesn't have to be specifically Rikers Island.
Because they can't afford their own bails. Like, is that going to be in the purview of? Well, I mean, we have to assess whether or not they could reoffend. Well, what about
they can't assess dangerousness right now in the state of New York.
They assess it in ways, the reason we put this law into place, which is now being rolled back, that were deemed inherently racist. They deem that it was disproportionately Black and brown people who are warehousing
Okay, but how's
Rikers.
that racist, though?
because at their discretion, it was implemented in a racist way. It's
but
the
if you
same
look
way
at the
that
crime
stop and frisk.
statistics, they're
Well, there you go.
disproportionately black and Hispanic.
So this is what the
I told you this was going to go here. I knew it. It's only a matter of time with Actual Justice Warrior, by the way.
You know, fucking Actual Justice Warrior.
reality is for you is you believe that black and Hispanic people inherently are committing.
When did I say
more
inherently?
crimes. I mean, this
if
is.
you pull up like NYPD crime data, for instance, since you brought up stop and frisk, you can look at the shootings, like the shooting suspects in any given year. And if you find me a year where 92% or greater is not black or Hispanic in terms of the shooting suspects, then I mean, I would be shocked.
No, I don't like this.
You know, fucking Actual Justice Warrior.
Because I've looked at it for the past
suspects.
20 years.
So
Yeah,
that's
suspects.
the cop's discretion. So
No, it's you get.
The thing with race realists,
Alert, slander.
it's only ever a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
A report,
right?
And you get a description of the suspect, and they are 92% every single year or above black or Hispanic.
Can I tell you guys a very famous New York story?
No thanks. I choose life.
Under Bloomberg, 90% of the stop and frisks that were done were, by the way, they didn't find anything, but 90% targeted black and brown people. So you're taking.
So the highest number, by the way, is 86%, not 90%. But go ahead.
You're taking the data and using what the cops did, where they over-police in certain areas, and then pretending like there's an overrepresentation inherently criminal.
It's so wild that he would bring up stop and frisk. Under Bloomberg, 90% of the stop and frisks that were done. Like everything we know about stop and frisks now knows that it was heavily racialized, did not result in anything other than the over-policing of, again, racialized communities, right? In 2009, black and Latino people in New York were 9 times as likely to be stopped by the police compared to white people. I remember when I was living in fucking Flatbush, New York, and it blew my mind how that's the most cops I've ever seen in my life.
Good.
Like every other fucking block had like not just one cop, it would be like 5 or 6,
Good.
or they'd have like little stations.
Good.
So there's even these like cranes, these white cranes that would like fucking lower and raise and had fucking like police officers in them. And I was like, this seems like such an overly policed neighborhood.
Good.
Criminally in those kinds of populations, and it's
Okay.
a racist argument.
So you're wrong in a bunch of different ways, so let me just like run through them. So first and foremost, the highest year was 86%, and that was the year with the dramatic increase in stops. And if you ask me if I'm in favor of just expanding stop and frisk, which is different from Giuliani's stop, question, and frisk, although, you know, you might not be interested in that specific difference, to the levels that Bloomberg did, I would say it's unnecessary, it aggravates people, it creates a whole bunch of problems. That being said, they're not over-targeted because, again, there is no year during the entire tenure of Bloomberg where the shooting suspects were any less than 92%. So what the NYPD does, because it's the most data-driven police force in the entire world, is they map crime through a system called CompStat. When there's a lot of shootings in a specific area, they send the police to those areas. The stops, questions, and frisks all relate to where the shootings are, and it just so happens to be those areas are black or Hispanic.
Right, but
do
you get accosted on the street by cops regularly in New York?
Do you get accosted on the street by cops regularly in New York?
It happened to me when I was younger, yes, but like not
okay.
now.
But do you understand?
But
how
to your point about hit rate, because you brought.
Sorry, what accosted? What did you say hi to a police officer as your parents walked by? Were they like wave to the brave man in blue who protects us, who guards us in the night? He, the true hero, the Blue Knight. Pure unadulterated cringe. Is that what happened?
Is that what happened?
No. Doesn't happen to me. I was never stopped and searched in Flatbush. I was never profiled in Flatbush. I was like the one white guy in that entire fucking neighborhood until fucking tourist season came in and then a whole bunch more white people came in. But otherwise, yeah, no, I was not racially profiled there. Just gonna say.
It up. Hit rate was not the goal of stop, question, and frisk. Like, this is one of the things where you're like, oh, well, this program didn't work because my standard that I look for are.
You remember if it happens, sticks in your mind, doesn't go away. Like the fact that he's just so willing to be like, no, yeah, I had an encounter, okay? Like, what was your encounter? I bet you it was his parents being like, wave at the brave police officer. Look at the heroes, our boys in blue.
Do you get accosted on the street by cops regularly in New York City?
It happened to me when I was younger, yes, but like not now.
Oh, no, I don't like this.
You know, fucking actual justice warrior.
Arbitrarily shows that it was ineffective. That's like saying a plane doesn't work because it's not a good submarine.
No, it's
like
not
that doesn't
arbitrary.
make any sense.
90% of the stop and frisk came up with nothing.
True, but the point was to deter the carrying of firearms.
True, but the point was to deter the carrying of firearms.
Have you done illegal drugs in your life?
Maybe.
I have. I could have been stopped and frisked, and I could have gone to prison, or I could have been held if I had a little bit less money in Rikers indefinitely until my trial came. Because a cop just decided, hey, I'm going to stop and frisk you, but they wouldn't do that to me because I'm a white woman.
All right, that's nice.
All right, that's nice.
Oh my God! Wow!
But anyway, it's about shootings, and the point of the program.
No, it's not.
It's about shooting.
It's about the murders of killings. Yeah, there's no white killers. It's about shooting. It's about the murders of killings. Yeah, there's no white killers.
White people, pure white. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I agree with some people in chat. Like, why does he get the time of day? White people, because he speaks with a level of confidence. Again, he loves, like, he's done videos on me where he keeps using the term Dunning-Kruger, right? And it's ironic because it's
about the murders of killings. Yeah, there's no white killers. It's about shooting. It's about the murders of killings. Yeah, there's no white killers.
White people, pure white. All people, like him and Tim, like they're a good duo in that they both have these levels of confidence in things that like white people, so categorically wrong. White, like just so profoundly categorically wrong. And you're like, you have like you like all of it.
It's about the murders of killings. Yeah, there's no white killers. It's about shooting. It's about the murders of killings. Yeah, there's no white killers.
White people, pure white. Again, is the best way I can word it is that it feels like it comes from a right-wing think tank. It feels like these are the best talking points of right-wing think tank that they've cobbled together. White people, however you've ingested it, whether it be through PragerU videos, whether it be through watching a bunch of guests on Timcast or something like that. You've ingested this version of the world where you can now cherry pick all these different isolated pieces of data, which, yes, numbers-wise, you're not making it up. Let's say there was a huge amount of crime and that started to plummet after the 1990s, right? You can look at the numbers and statistics and bring that up. But then what do you use to try and convey through all that information?
We should incapacitate repeat offenders so they stop offending.
The prophecy is true.
This is stated quite literally to deter people from carrying illegal firearms.
And I'm gonna,
it 100% is.
Are you in favor of gun control?
This is what I'm trying to say.
I'm a New Yorker, so I'm not like a big gun guy, but
let me. This is my point.
Target guns, and that's why.
Yeah, you definitely got to target illegal guns.
I'm going to agree with Emma,
sure.
but Emma's not going to agree with me. The idea that the police can decide to arbitrarily stop people because they might be carrying a firearm violates the Second and Fourth Amendments.
Well, again,
stop and frisk is completely unconstitutional.
That's why Fourth Amendment was in my mind.
Well, again, it's.
Seamus is insufferable off camera as he is on camera. To be honest, he's actually like very nice off camera. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have to lie to try and be like, yeah, he's an asshole, bro. And then I was like, yo, bro, what up? And then he flexed, and I was like, what, you gonna step? And then like I fucking pushed my shit back, threw my shit out, and then he was like, oh, what? And then we had a draw off because we're both cartoonists, and then we pulled paper out, and they were like, yeah, fuck this, bro. And I like had mine up, and then he was like, oh, that hurts me, and then he showed me mine. I was like, oh, that hurts me too. It was wild, bro. It was wild. Yeah, it was crazy. Shit went down, man. Pure unadulterated cringe. No, I don't like this.
You know, fucking actual justice warrior.
Let's stop and fix it.
Robbing for rent. Engage in the French, slave ever since. Return of the prince, Constantine the Great. Now go great, sons of man plan.
Byzantine king, supreme. All Neil gets the ring. Into an Elohim, I blow steam from the families of the Maccabees. Smack them seas, watch them scream your majesty. Make them suffer the capacity of tragedy. Hold the crowd down like gravity.
High-ranked officials and armed tanks with missiles, blood drizzle. Simple fact you slept on an issue. That before you started jerking off joysticks and Sega, I was rocking off 100-watt amps and Sharon Vegas.
Apocalypse now. Mind over matter, next batter beat the gap. Plain killing it, touch, you feeling it. In your bloodstream, deadly venomous elixir. Hammer like sledge that be sister. All in together now, follow me the mister. Left Candyman, farewell to the
Honolulu status, Gladys, rich, rock, cabbage, and dollar bands, gains. That nigga man savage. Stationary hall of justice. Niggas came conked out, just came home, now they bonked out. Money be longer than triple life. To the sun burn out. That's my work, moving with the burner out.
It's the longest waited, the most anticipated. The album hesitated. Scream the name out, kill a priest. I leave the blood spilling in the street.
Watching enemy stare, hostility floats in the air. If I have to play, so I just won't care. We roll in pairs, like a machine moving supreme. My team gleam like matches and gasoline. Soldier fanatic, 7 slug punctured the attic. So the stuck of your fucking religion. I worse to prison, or your bones to the
Alf Benny will be sure to mix this up and mash this up in his TYT mashups, which are very entertaining, and I highly recommend you watch it. Very entertaining, and I highly recommend you watch it. Alf Benny to mix this up, mash this up. Alf Benny mash this up in his TYT mashups, which are very entertaining, and I highly recommend you watch it. Alf Benny.